So yeah, I think we're good to go. So good morning, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us in our first session of IBM Master the Mainframe, which is a part of series of technical and professional trainings led by experts from IBM Z team and their partners. This is your host, Abir Sharmiti, founder and host of LPod, a podcast series featuring stories of women in tech and business, and hosting today's session in partnership with IBM Z. And I'm happy to have with me Phila Dlamini, Africa Linux One project manager, Subhasish Sarkar, senior SQ&A engineer and IBM Z champion, Marwa Thabit, IBM Z Tunisia ambassador. So before we get started, a reminder to keep microphone muted while speakers are presenting, and feel free to drop questions and comment in the chat. Let's get started with an introduction to enterprise computing by Phila. So over to you, Phila.
Thank you. Let me just try to share my presentation. Okay. My name is Phila Dlamini, and my role is to actually go around the world talking about IBM and open source. The reason why we do this is because there's a huge skill shortage when it comes to IBM Z skills. And I'll show you just now some of the things that you can do on IBM Z. My screen is black. Can everyone see it?
Yes, we do. Now you're not sharing, right? Okay.
Yeah, it seems like it's showing black when I put it on presentation mode. Is that correct, right? Was it just showing a black screen instead of these things listed here?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, that's fine. It's fine. I'll just use this. And a bit of background about myself. Before I graduated from university, I was then offered a job, and being in Africa and not knowing if I'll get a job or not, I took the first job that I got, and I was just happy to get that job, not knowing what was entailing that job. Obviously, I knew that I was going to be doing SAP, and I had to research about SAP. When I started doing SAP, and for the past 2.5 years doing SAP, so finding out what's wrong with the financial document that was presented by the CFO of a company or anyone who works in the finance department, because I was a finance consultant, I realized that this is not my passion, and I didn't feel like waking up every morning going to my job. I then looked for another job, and that's the result of me joining IBM. And the whole reason was at university, I actually enjoyed doing coding and, just understanding new technology all the time and trying to figure out what's going on and all that. And so what I'll be explaining today is part of that, right? My history, and everyone else who's on the call will understand why it's best for you to do master mainframe, to understand the technology and actually get exposure, or understand what you'd be getting yourself into if you do take the IBM Z route, rather than start doing mainframes and at the end you realize that this is not something that you like. So what is IBM Z? I'm sure you think, those big computers, you probably don't interface with them in your daily life, but you actually do, right? You're probably familiar with Twitter, Tinder, and your Google search. Every time you go on the Google search engine and you search anything, in 1 second, all these results can come out, right? You can have 5,000 Twitters and all that. But in an IBM Z, it's transactions. It's not just line items or what, it's transactions that are actually happening. So people buying from one another using the IBM Z in the background. These are transactions being processed by an IBM Z. So every time you will then do anything on, let's say you have a bank account and you are transacting on it, and then your parents or whoever has the same bank details is transacting on that bank details. The mainframe has to record all those transactions as it happening. And that means that if it goes down, all that information will be lost. And just imagine if you were going to your bank account and you find a R0 or whatever amount that you used to be expecting is not there, and that's because the mainframe went down and things went wrong, right? So IBM Z is so crucial in our daily lives that if something goes wrong on it, all our transactions or all the things that we run on them will just be redundant or gone. And that's why it has zero downtime. That means there's always a backup for an IBM Z in cases of, let's say, load shedding in South Africa or other things like your natural disasters. They actually took an IBM Z and tested when it comes to a volcano or a tornado in the US, and just wanted to see how it can manage the things that are going around it. So if you're using an IBM Z, you using an ATM when you're booking your flights or online, that's an IBM Z working in the background. When you're booking those hotels online or wherever you're booking them, those are transactions that are processed by an IBM Z in the background. And we all go and buy clothing or whatever we're buying in stores, and those are how many transactions that are happening, and all are managed by an IBM Z in the background, including our credit cards. So if you wanted to know all the companies out there that are actually using an IBM Z, just think of all the retail companies out there, the banks in the world, including where you are right now, which bank actually uses an IBM Z in the background for their workload, for everything that's running them. The airlines that you use when you're flying somewhere, and including the insurance companies that we actually use for either our houses or our cars, or even our lives, right? And all of those systems and most of them actually ran on an IBM Z. So IBM Z is very crucial in our life in terms of all the processing that it does and all the things that are involved in it. And even though you might think that you probably don't see it or work on them, but they actually run most of the things that we do. When it comes to the security that it has, it can run a blockchain, Hyperledger or any other blockchain on it, because it has the crypto that is needed for blockchain. So you're probably thinking that, oh no, you are interested in AI and all the latest technology that is out there, and maybe these things would not run on IBM Z. You're very wrong. You can see here on the spreadsheet, on this presentation, that even blockchain, your AI, Internet of Things, all the nice things that we see now, all the nice technology that we see now actually runs on an IBM Z. And later when I'm doing my Linux 1 training, I'll show you a presentation where all the open source products are actually run on an IBM Z and work really well on an IBM Z. So if you're thinking of doing AI, you can even do your AI on an IBM Z because it's already there. It actually supports AI. And a lot of people would think of enterprise computing as one of their, career options because of obviously the salary that they look at. And a lot of people, so a survey was done and they wanted to find out what do people look for when they're wanting employment. And most people obviously are motivated by money. And another thing, and other things that are actually motivating people is work-life balance. People want to know that they can do their job as much as they're passionate about it and love it, but they can still have time for their families or their, the other activities that they're doing outside of their work. And being part of this amazing technology or environment that allows all these technology to work, and knowing that you're changing the world or whatever you're working on is actually making a big impact in your company, that also builds for anyone who wants to add value in their company. They will love to know that the system that they're working on actually does so much, and without them, without the skills that they have, things that on the IBM Z can, and that's why when it comes to IBM Z skills, it's very crucial and needed throughout the world, because a lot of companies want to invest in IBM Z skills because they know that it runs the most crucial technology in their company. And also the security in your job, right? Knowing that you're running in an IBM Z that has been around for years and years. In fact, when IBM started out, one of the technology that made a lot of profits for IBM Z, and even now, was IBM Z. And it's not going away. It's been how many years of having IBM Z, and it's becoming more modern and more slicker and amazing. So where can you start if you wanted to do or follow the roots of enterprise computing? This is Master Mainframe. So by just doing level 1 of Master Mainframe, you get to feed 2 kids. So IBM will donate to the UN fund. And by you doing that, right, you're also getting skills. And Master Mainframe actually will look at, so the level 1 will look at VS Code. You'll get to download VS Code, Node.js, and obviously just understand the interface. So I'll let Mawa actually explain this better. And in level 2, if you complete level 2, you're using Python, using Unix, you're even using the community cloud. And by completing it, you get a certificate that you can showcase on LinkedIn or add to your CV. And if you you can actually go into a draw where you can get a voucher, gift voucher. And in level 3, you get the limited edition of the Master Mainframe T-shirts. And not a lot of people get to complete level 2, level 3, and we choose 2 people per region. So we'll take 2 in Africa and so forth, right? And those people will go to the US, all expenses paid. They need people that could employ them. And with that level 3 badge, even on LinkedIn, everyone will recognize that you know these skills in IBM Z. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Phila. I mean, it's a very informative introduction, and it's even new for me knowing that every transaction that ran, it's IBM Z, it's behind it. That's so cool. I mean, a lot of people, they don't know that, and I appreciate you sharing those information. You already gave a little bit of introduction of what we will be doing today, which is master the mainframe. Before we get our hands on like technical session, I would like to invite Sarkar to give an introduction about master the mainframe. So yeah, Sarkar, over to you if you're ready.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm ready. So first of all, I'd like to thank Abir specifically to invite me to this event. And it's a great privilege and honor for me to talk over here. So yeah, so as you know, the event is all about learning about enterprise computing, which Phila talked about so nicely, so informative. Um, she talked about why you should be interested in enterprise computing, right? Because you are contributing to the society and to the world as a whole, and that you should be proud of that. And what better way to start your career in enterprise computing than to start your career with IBM Z mainframes? Right, because Phila gave a lot of statistics as to why IBM Z mainframes is important to the world. We even don't realize that, but we interact with the IBM Z mainframes on a day-to-day basis, right? And okay, and now coming to how to leverage or how to learn about IBM Z skills, as Phila said, the best place to start is Master the Mainframe, or MTM as we call it, right? So this is a flagship program, if I may call it, from IBM. You know, they conduct it each and every year. I think, if I remember the statistics correctly on top of my head, this is the 17th year or the 15th year, I'm not sure. Maybe it's 15th year of Master the Mainframe. And it's an amazing program for the students to learn about IBM Z mainframes. You know, the different skill sets that employers look out for. You know, it's the best place, I'll say, to start with Master the Mainframe. So you know, and if I talk a little bit about Master the Mainframe, so this program is basically divided into two broad categories, right, if you may call it. So the first one is obviously for the students, right, learners. And students can, and in order to contest in this program as a student, right, many, I mean, last year in Master the Mainframe 2019, what I know is 25,000 students from all over the world contested in Master the Mainframe 2019 contest, right? So in order to contest in Master the Mainframe 2020, you need to be a student um, from one of the recognized universities anywhere in the world, and that basically qualifies you to contest in the you know, Master the Mainframe contest. And the other part is, if you are not a student, then also Master the Mainframe has got something for you, right? So probably if you are not a student, if you are a beginner in IT career, you know, or maybe you have 2 or 3 years of experience in IT career, right, but you want to learn more about what IBM Z mainframes are, right, the different skill sets that are needed in order to start a career in IBM Z mainframes, then also you can actually enroll into Master the Mainframe, but you will not be able to contest, you know, for the prizes, but you will be able to enroll as a learner, right? So that's also a very motivating factor if you want to start your career on IBM Z mainframes, or if you want to learn more about what IBM Z mainframes are all about. Then, and if you are not a student, then you can enroll into the program to learn more about IBM Z, right? And the Master the Mainframe is basically divided into three distinct levels. So level 1, level 2, and level 3. Phila talked about it a bit. You know, level 1 is basically an all hands introduction, right? uh, uh, we are going to install VS Code, and we are going to install node.js, and two more plugins. We are going to install two more plugins in VS Code, and that will basically set our system in order to talk to the IBM Z mainframe. So once you are done with level 1, apart from feeding two children, right, which Phila talked about, and that is a big motivation in itself, you are also going to set up your system in a manner such that you are going to talk to a real mainframe, right? So my friends, you are going to talk to a real mainframe which is sitting somewhere in the United States, maybe, right? um, but you don't need to worry about that, where the mainframe is located. You are going to talk to the mainframe from the comfort of your laptop or desktop, or whatever device you are using, right? So that is all about level 1. So once you are done with level 1 and you are ready to have a working mainframe to work with, then probably the fun begins, right, with level 2. So level 2 consists of many different challenges. You are going to learn about Rex, which is, if you can call it, a scripting language on the mainframe platform, right? Similar to sort of like Python on the distributed side. Rex and Python are very I mean, very familiar, I mean, very similar to each other. So you can learn Rex, then you will learn about JCL, which I'll say is one of the fundamental skills that you should learn if you want to work on the IBM Z mainframes, especially on the Z operating system on the mainframes. Then you learn about, as Phila said, the community cloud. I mean, Linux systems on community cloud. So you can basically, you are going to provision a Linux system for you, which actually resides on the community cloud, right? And so there are different skills which you are going to learn about in level 2. Zowe is one, which is the open source framework for the IBM Z mainframes. And the challenges will start in level 2. Probably the first challenge will be a bit easier, and as you go down into level 2, the challenges tend to get a little bit tougher. But I'm sure, if you follow the instructions properly, you will be able to complete level 2. And then the final level, or the third level, is level 3. And level 3, you also learn certain advanced skills, like COBOL, and then the Z open utilities, uh, right, and things like that, which are the latest and greatest technologies, which are being supported on the mainframes, right? um, you will also get a test of how to run containers, right? I mean, that's not a whole deal, that's not a whole lot that you will learn about, but you will get a taste of how to learn containers on IBM Z, right? And so as you can guess, right, I mean, Python is another language which you can run on IBM Z, and you will learn that in Master the Mainframe as well. So as you can guess, almost all the latest and greatest technologies that you think about, are available on the IBM Z mainframes, and you will get to learn a lot about many of them in Master the Mainframe 2020. And if you complete all the challenges in level 3, then comes the grand challenge, right? So this is the challenge where basically the students will work on a particular challenge. They will devise solutions on using the technologies they have learned in level 1, level 2, and level 3, and then they will submit their solution to IBM, right? And then IBM, basically they have a panel of judges who will look into all the submissions, and then there will be regional winners. So as Phila said, that probably there are 2 regional winners from the continent of Africa, then there are winners from Europe, then there are winners from Asia, North America, and regions like that, things like that. So you have regional winners, and then you have 3 grand winners, right? They are the global winners. So there is a lot of stake, there is a lot of reputation for this contest. It's a great contest which is recognized worldwide, and it's running for 15 years or 17 years now at a trot. you know all the major employers around the world who are looking for hiring on IBM Z mainframe platform and mainframe skill sets, they look very seriously towards this competition, right? And so if you really want to build a career on IBM Z mainframes and on the enterprise computing platform, take Master the Mainframe very seriously, complete it, try to be a winner. And I'm sure if you probably pay much effort and time into it and follow all the instructions that IBM has laid out, you will probably be a winner. So best of luck to all of you. And that's probably my take of the Master the Mainframe 2020 contest.
Yeah, thank you, Sarkar. I do have a question for participants who are joining us today. Do they need to sign up for Master the Mainframe before we start the level 1?
No, they can do it now.
Yes, Marwa, go ahead.
Yeah, they can do it now with us,
All right.
with me. I will do it.
So yeah, okay. I shared the link anyway in the chat for a participant to go and sign up. They will need an IBM ID. It's for free. They can go ahead and create it, but also we will go through the process with you, with Marwa and Sarkar. So I think we all set to start level 1. Marwa, thank you for joining us again. She's the IBM Z Tunisia ambassador. And yeah, Subhash, I'm sorry, he will be instructing her through the level 1. So yeah, we good to start, I guess. Marwa?
You were muted
Yeah, you were muted.
all the
But
time.
now, no problem.
Okay, I repeated or
Yeah, you can start over.
okay. So I'm Marwa Thabit, the ambassador and PhD student in computer science. Before getting started with level 1, I would like to introduce you what is the ambassador program, what is for, and how to apply. To be the ambassador, you should be a student. Your role is to be the voice of IBM and Angel Hack in your campus, in your country, and social platforms through organizing meetups like this one or sharing resources with your fellows. Also, I'm very excited to provide you with all possible help or redirect you to the right person like Sarkar or many instructors from IBM or resources when you are stuck during the challenges. I will share all my contact in the chat just in 1 minute, but you can, the ambassador program is an opportunity that you can avail from it too much, and like to increase your visibility in front of recruiters as well as the IBM the community. It is an opportunity to learn mainframes and to enhance your skills, soft skills, through moderating events, public speaking, facilitating content like level 1, level 2. You will also have an international network of mainframes, of the ambassadors, of mentors from prestigious companies. Now the application is closed, but you can still apply through this link. I will also drop it in the chat. And you will have this link will provide you with an alert when it is open. So that's all for the ambassador program. Now we can go for the level 1. 1 minute. Okay. Now we will register for Master the Mainframe challenge. Please, Abir, put the link for
Yeah,
Master
I
the
shared the
Mainframe.
link. Yeah, I shared the link in the chat.
Yeah, great. It's a guy. Yeah.
Oops, okay.
You have the link. Let's start level 1 and feed 2 more children. We have here how many children we have fed so far. Are you seeing my screen on the mastermainframe.com?
Yes, we do.
Or not? Yeah, great. So we will first sign up and get started. Yeah. So you will need to we need to fill your email. Your first name, last name, and your password. Do it at the same time and raise your hand when you finished it to be in the same pace. Okay. Yes, you are an academic institute and from an academic institute, and you are above 13. And next, a passcode through the email. Yeah. Go to your email. Yeah, here it is. You'll have a code here. Copy and paste it. Here. And continue. Proceed. Did you do it now and have you finished this? Raise your hands.
Yeah, we got some positive feedback, so we're good to go.
Yeah, great. I think, yeah.
And if anyone has issues, you can text in the chat.
Yeah, now we have the platform open. So we have the challenges, levels. We are doing level 1 now. So in the available list, we have share the mainframe on social media. You go through it to say that you are now doing mainframe. Yeah. You can share on LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook that you are doing mainframe right now. It's a good thing for you on the LinkedIn. You will be noticed. Click here. Okay. Due to connection. Put it like done. It's the first challenge. Then you can plan events as a student. You can all plan events and have your facilitator badge in your schools, in your campus. You can do it. So then we have level 1 challenges.
Is it plan an event about IBM Z Master the Mainframe?
Yeah, right. Yeah, any student can just fill a form and say what in which date he will plan he will do his event, and he can do his event. Then fill another form to say that he planned his event and it was successful with some pictures or screenshots, and he will get a facilitator badge, and he can share it on LinkedIn or Facebook or any social media he wants. And he put it on his CV. Sure. Okay. I can help anyone who wants to do this.
Thank you.
So, level 1 available. I think I'm sorry, I have to log in again. It's my main account and it's in level 2, so I have to. So sorry. I will stop sharing sometime.
Yes, so Marwa, you have to use a new email ID.
Yeah, I have used my own and I have to use the new, yeah.
Yes, because I think with this you have already completed level 1 and you are into level 2.
Yeah.
So Dora in the chat, she's saying, I created an account successfully, but I didn't find the challenges level 1 in my homepage. Where should I find it? Sarkar, can you?
She has to refresh, I think.
Yes, probably you can do a refresh of the web page and you should see the level 1 challenges. If you still don't see it, let us know.
Anyone who created the account and oh, she still don't see it.
She can share her screen.
Yeah. Can you please
All
share
right.
your screen?
Yeah. Let me. Mara, can you stop sharing your screen so Dora?
Yeah.
All right. Dora, feel free to share your screen. And you are unmuted.
Yeah, she has the you are eligible, so she have to do this challenge first. She did it. Dora, you can speak, I think.
Yes, Dora. So you have to answer these questions and do a continue. And after you complete this challenge, then
You will have
the
the
next challenges pop up. So master the mainframe, the challenges work like this. So you won't get all the challenges at the very start. So once you complete one challenge, probably the next challenge will come.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. I will do this. Can stop, Dora. Great. So we have some noise. We have at the first screen. This you are in, you can choose French or English. Then it's okay. Then start here, choose your path. Let's see if you are eligible. So are you both 13 And what is your country? Tunisia. And are you full part or part-time student? Yeah, I'm eligible. So we have 50 coins. Okay, then we refresh to have the rest of challenges. Yeah, here you can watch the IBM Z-Day conferences and hands-on replies, and you will enjoy it. It's very informative and very rich. Yeah, you can click here and go to the homepage. So if you are eligible, register for Master Mainframe. Yeah. What is the name of your school?
So yeah, this is the step where Dora was. Yeah.
The URL. Yeah. You can you put here the URL of your school.
So I hope Dora's problem is resolved
Then you
now.
will have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She has put a confirmation. So.
All right.
So Marwa, you finished the first two challenges.
Yeah.
First.
Now you are eligible. Yeah. You will choose your gender. You will put did you hear for this? It's an MTM workshop. Yeah. Select that you are interested. Okay, you want to hear about IBM and Hack, willing to be contacted. Check it all. Yeah. Yeah. You accept the terms and conditions.
Sorry for interrupting you, Marwa. Just one thing I wanted to add is that please put the right name of the university or the high school or the college and the right URL. For us, it's really important to make sure that the university or the college really exists to be considered and to be eligible, like for the awards and for the next steps. But I do understand that in the demo you're just showing, a note for everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Samar. That's correct. So when you're putting information, make sure that you add correct information, especially about your university or school, to keep track.
So
So Marwa, if you can explain as you go.
Yeah, this video is in the last step of registration. That's why it doesn't move to the next challenge, because we didn't see that yet. So I will let Misty, she will explain how the platform is and how to use it.
Well, we can see it. Oh, now we do.
So since the internet is not that stable.
Yeah, since it's an YouTube video, so probably, all the participants can play this video on their side. And because it seems that Marwa's internet connection is a bit unstable today. So I'll suggest that all the participants, they listen to this video on their side. It's a very short video. I mean, it's not, right. It's not more than 1 or 2 minutes long. So please listen to the video and then, complete the challenge.
So yeah, defeat the blockade.
If anyone has any problems moving forward, please let us know and we'll help.
So welcome to level 1.0. It's master the mainframe. Yeah. So you will watch a quick video about a tour around the contest, again with Misty. So you can watch it on your side. She will explain again in more details what is in level 1, icons and challenges. Okay. Please watch it on your sides. Now your personal data powerhouse. Yeah. Find out what the IBM Z mainframe is all about and how it delivers top-tier performance from all directions. What does a mainframe look like? Well, if you are after the simple answer, here it is. This is a brand new top of the line IBM Z15. Yeah, here is how the IBM Z looks like. So these puppies are so powerful, that they are the trusted hardware to handle the workloads you interact with every day. Like Phila and Sarkar said, if ever bought something online, you are going through a mainframe, book a plane ticket is the same. Your paycheck, credit cards, all are going through the mainframe. This video is also how mainframes are used everywhere. So you can see it in your site.
Marwa, can you drop the link of the YouTube link in the chat?
They will find it in the challenge anyway. Okay.
And
you want to share it?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
also, since these are YouTube videos, so probably if you don't want to, watch them now, maybe after the session, or maybe when you have some time, you can just go and watch these videos,
Yeah.
because these are live YouTube videos. You will find them.
Yeah.
I just wanted to play one as an example.
So play
Yeah,
the second one of Jet.
probably right.
Yeah.
Probably Jeps. This one we should play, because this is very, very important for someone who is starting on IBM Z mainframe. So Marwa,
Yeah.
if you can play this, if your
Uh,
bandwidth allows, obviously.
Well, I will do it my side since I have good internet.
Okay,
So
okay,
okay.
okay, yeah.
That's nice. I will
But
stop sharing.
this one would be a very good video for
yeah,
all. Right.
that's why
No, the second one, not this.
oh, the second one. Okay. Where's the chat?
When you share, you can see it.
Okay. See, okay, stop sharing. I'm gonna get the second one you said.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Okay. And I'm sharing now.
virtualization. Now,
Everyone seeing my my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
let's talk about virtualization. Now, as you know, the mainframe is full of some incredible hardware, but you can only get so excited about that if you're only driving this small little application that maybe doesn't need 196 processors and 40 terabytes of RAM. But then at the same time, you've got these other huge applications that support the entire business, and those need big time amounts of processors and memory. Well, it all works out because the mainframe is built around virtualization. There's the physical side of things, the stuff we can see, and then there's the logical side, which is how it actually gets used. Think about it like a house. You start out with this floor plan, and well, that's only fun for so long. Eventually, you start wanting an area to sleep in that isn't the same area you make your breakfast in. So you say, let's start partitioning this up, and we'll make this area a bedroom and this area a kitchen. And then you say, well, you know what? Better make it 2 bedrooms, and we'll probably also need a bathroom, so let's carve out space for those as well. That leaves this area over here. I'm going to make this a living room, and you know what? As long as we're playing Dreamhouse, I've always wanted a study. So I'm going to put in a study right here between the living room and the bedroom. Oh, I can't wait to use that study. It's going to be so great. So there, I've taken my empty floor plan and I've partitioned it out to give that space use. Same concept on a mainframe. You start out with all these resources, and then you say, you know what? I need a place to run my Linux web-facing APIs. So here they go. And I also need a place to test things. So let's say this is my test environment. And let's give a bigger version of that to production, because they'll definitely want that to run the whole business. Maybe these are where the databases go. You can see we've got a whole bunch of them for redundancy and performance. And then development happens over here. And these can all be running different operating systems, and we can bring one of these down without affecting all the others. It's like it's its own room. You don't do kitchen stuff in the bedroom, and you don't do test stuff in production. These are called LPARs, or logical partitions. So because we have LPARs, we can have this big amount of resources, which can be run a whole lot more efficiently and give us a whole lot more options than a whole bunch of smaller individual servers. But they can behave and appear to users as separate working environments. And you know what we forgot? Doors. Let's add some doors to this house. Obviously, we need to be able to get in and out of all the rooms. And now that we've added doors, we can peek our head out of the kitchen and see what's going on down the hallway. On a mainframe, these LPARs exist as separate, isolated systems, even though they're technically on the same hardware. And if you're logged in over here, you can't just peek out into any other LPAR. Just because I'm over here doing development, I can't affect this production area unless I specifically have access. Hey, you know what? We've got our own tiny little master of the mainframe LPAR over here, and we're letting thousands and thousands of mainframe noobs loose on it right now, on the same hardware where other stuff is running. And it doesn't matter because we've got our own CPU, we've got our own memory, and it's the job of virtualization to make sure everybody gets what they need. A fully loaded Z15 mainframe can have up to 85 of these LPARs, and some companies will use them all up making smaller size systems. Others will make up a couple of very big LPARs. Most will actually have a mix of small, medium, and large. And these aren't set in stone either. If an LPAR starts needing more processor power or it starts running out of memory, as long as there's more unused resources going around, or if we want to share resources between two LPARs, which is a thing we can do, the person in charge just needs to load up a web page, hit some buttons, and say, all right, you've got more power. And that right there is the true power of virtualization, being in full control of how you use what you have.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, Abir. Have you any question about virtualization?
Good morning, or good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our second webinar for our rehost webinar series, Moving IBM Mainframe Workloads.
Sorry, that was the YouTube on autoplay.
Thank you,
So, yeah.
Abir.
Right.
So, have you any question about virtualization? If not, I have one. So, what's the difference between virtualization, the cloud, and mainframe? Since we have virtualization in both sides, but what makes mainframes better than than the clouds we use today in everything, like students?
Maybe because cloud is used only to stock the data, but with mainframe you can control.
Not that really, but I don't have a very deep answer, but it's almost because mainframes are meant to be the best in processing, in security, and in its architecture is the best, is expensive, but clouds are meant to be cheap and affordable for everyone. You can't have easily, or you can't use for a small transaction, and our as students we need only data to stock. For example, we don't need mainframe. We don't have critical information. We don't have so much transactions, but so clouds have the same virtualization mechanism, but it's not the same power of architecture, of mechanisms behind. I think this is my my answer. Maybe Sarkar can add more details.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's what the answer is. The only thing which I like to add is, although both mainframes as well as the cloud are built around the concept of virtualization, and if you probably don't know it, but the concept of virtualization, the virtual machines and all these things which you see today, right, in the modern distributed side, the concept of virtualization itself came from IBM Z mainframes. So I'm not going into huge depth of all these things, but basically what I believe is virtualization was there in mainframes from a long time, even before when the term virtualization was actually coined and became commercially used or commercially available. So mainframes have always been virtualized, but probably, as Marwa said, clouds are also built around the concept of virtualization. So are the mainframes, IBM Z mainframes. Main difference I'll say is, as Marwa also said, the concept of RAS, which you call reliability, availability, and security, right? So the mainframes are the only, I'll say, enterprise computing platform which are truly known for reliability, availability, and security. A very major difference between cloud and mainframes would be the security part, right? So even though you hear a lot about cloud these days, and not these days, probably from the previous 7 to 8 years, people have been talking a lot about cloud here, cloud there, hybrid cloud, different sorts of cloud, community cloud. But probably you will still find that most of the enterprises plan to move their workloads 100% or maybe 85 or 90% of their workloads to the cloud, but then they are not able to do that, mainly because of the security concern that is associated with moving all the workloads to the cloud, especially the highly critical ones. For example, a bank, right? The credit card data, they must be storing for each and every customer their credit card information or debit card information or bank account information. Those are very personal, sensitive information, right? And banks and insurance companies probably would be very less reluctant to move all these types of critical and sensitive information to the cloud. They still today, banks and insurance companies and airlines, they prefer putting their sensitive information into a mainframe, because the mainframes are probably the best secured computing platform ever built, right? You hear about lot of hacks these days, right? Probably each and every day in some part of the world there is a hack story, which you hear. Someone's password is stolen, this and that, companies get hacked. But probably the mainframe is the only platform which has been in existence for 56 years now, that you do not come across a single story of hacking the mainframe. So it's that secured. So probably for me, the answer is security is obviously a major distinction between mainframes and the so-called cloud technology. Yeah, Marwa, over to you.
So, thank you, Sarkar. As you know, ALPAR stands for logical partition. That just makes sense. Since it is a logical way of partitioning machines' resources, what does ALPAR not stand for? Wrong answer only. So I put lovely partition, so you can put anything you like. So
my friends, this is probably the only time in your life where you will get a correct, where you will get a mark
Linux.
for.
So if someone of you wanna share his screen and
Say it again, Marwa.
a wrong answer. Oh, he said that he will. You get a mark for a wrong answer.
Yeah. So I was just joking. I mean, this is probably the only time in your life where you will get a mark for a wrong answer. Yes, we can hear you, Marwa.
Yeah. Is there someone who wants to share his screen and do the download steps with me? Because I'm using Linux and I think most of you use.
So is anyone ready to volunteer from the audience? Are they ready to share their screen and do the installation of VS Code and Node.js?
Someone who didn't download it yet, because
Yes,
we
so
already sent them.
okay. Okay. So probably then
All of you have downloaded. Okay, we can go to.
Yeah, I can always volunteer. I'm on Windows, so but I'm just waiting for someone to raise their hands.
Or maybe if everybody who is in the audience right now have Node.js and VS Code installed on their machine. If that is the case,
Yeah, it's
probably then we
preferable
can move forward.
yeah. We can move on to.
Or you can text if anyone wants to be unmuted. Maybe they're having that. All right, I think we, yeah, yes, I have that. Okay, so Haytham. We have Haytham Bahri. So Haytham, you're unmuted. I think so. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey Haytham.
I just wanted to say that I have them installed in my computer already.
So yeah, that's good. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
So I will share my screen to show everybody which version they have to install. Is that okay with you,
I think
Sarkar
you
and
are
Marwan?
there for this.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah, go.
So Visual Studio.
If everyone has done this, you can raise your hands that it's done, so we go over.
So yeah, if you are on Windows, I'm on Windows, so
Yeah.
you download that. Downloads. Yeah, and it's pretty easy downloading the VS Code. Then Node.js. I got questions about which version. It's the latest, it's the more stable than the
Yeah.
current.
I think the LTS version is what we should download because LTS stands for long-term support. So that's probably the most stable version, and that is recommended for download.
Yeah, so it's pretty quick, and boom, it's downloaded. I think I have it before. So and also VS Code, I have it. So yeah, to ask you to accept, create a desktop icon, add to path, make sure to add it to path.
Yeah. Next install.
So
It's pretty easy.
on the other side,
Node.js.
please wait while, okay, it's installing something else. So yeah, we have the VS Code. This is how it looks like, the VS Code. And yeah, that's the Node.js. Accept terms, next. Node.js, next. No, I don't need to automatically install the necessary tools. Just install. Yes.
So I think everybody in the audience has Node.js and a VS Code installed.
Oh, yeah.
If someone still hasn't got it installed, please let us know. Please raise their hands so that if you are stuck somewhere, we can help.
Yeah, and yeah, we can move on to the next steps after installing. So Marwa, if you can share your screen as we run out of time to be just on the clock.
Okay, so then in this challenge 1.2, you have get connected. So here you will be having your profile ID and password for to connect on the Z15 machine. Note it down because you will use it on the VS Code. You can't go from the form backend former. Okay.
Backend form.
Yeah. So you will be having this document. So first they will show you how to download the goods, Node.js and VS Code. Then you will install Node.js as Abir showed us, and you will install and run VS Code. So I have VS Code here. First thing to do is to install the Zowe Explorer. You go here. So click on the extensions launcher in the activity bar and write Zowe here. And you write Zowe. Here. Yeah. Zowe. Yeah, Zowe Explorer. Yeah, it's installed for me. You will find installed in green here normally, and you click install and this is fine. It's quicker. Then you will have this icon after installing it. Then we will install the IBM Z Open Editor. You write IBM Z Open Editor in. Okay, let's do it. IBM Z Open Editor. IBM Z Open. That's it. So as usual, you will find install here and you click on it. We go for Zowe. Yeah, you go for Zowe, then you will click on this add your profile, your documents, your files. Okay, specify new connection. If the extension installs were successful, but you do not see the Zowe icon, then restart VS Code and it should appear. Once it shows up, click on it to open up its view. This area is known as the activity bar, and it's where you find the main tasks in VS Code. Then click on the plugins, the plus sign next to data sets up top. The plus sign will not appear until you move your mouse into the data set area. Okay. After clicking on this sign, you have to bring with you this link, copy this link. So we will create a new collection to ZOS, and we will have options. The name of the connection will be MTM 2020, and you will choose ZOSMF for the profile type, and you will be directed to this link that you will copy now. So let's do it together. First, click on the plus, go to Zowe, click on the plus, then create a new connection. It's okay, enter. Name, put it MTM 2020. I will put it MTM 20 because I have already MTM 2020. So then enter, okay. then choose ZOSMF, then paste the link you took. I didn't take it. 1 minute. Done. Username, you will put your Z ID profile you took earlier. Yeah. Then hit enter, then your password. Then enter, then choose false, accept connections with self-signed certificates, then hit enter, and your profile is created. Here it is. Then you will go here and look for your ID like this. Hit enter.
Just a point over here, when your profile will be successfully created,
Yeah.
you will see that green check mark, right? Green tick mark.
Yeah,
Just yeah, right. So once you see the green tick mark, that means you have completed the process successfully.
Yeah. If you have seen the red one, perhaps you have to reset your password. It's almost that. Okay, then you will, yeah, everything is documented here, but to be faster, then you go here, click on plus, and put the name of the profile, the connection you created, MTM 2020 for you, and it will be here. And in jobs too, do the same, and it's here too. Okay, you can see the files and folders. Okay, this is all documented here, and it's so guided. So show data sets, mouse over new connection you just created under data sets, and click to magnifying glass next to it. In the window that pops up, type in your user ID. This will set the filter to your user files, which is a good place to start. Hit enter. This may search for a few seconds before returning results. So as we did, we put our profile ID and we got these files. So then you click on the plus also for jobs, and you will have the, for USS first and then jobs, and you will have you put the connection profile name, and you will create the folder like the previous one, and it is the same for the jobs as we did. Well done. You should have connection profiles for all three main areas of the Zowe Explorer plugin. Now that you are in, feel free to explore a little and see what you have just made available. Okay, so we have all folders here and here and here. We have finished it. So it's done. And then we have level 1.4 challenge. Yeah, congrats. In this level, you learned a bit about the mainframe. What does you learned a bit about the mainframe, what it does, and how it's used. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Now, that you have access to level 2, you will start diving in and learning how to use on these the best part. Once you finish level 2, you will earn a badge that you can show on your that can show to your potential employers, prove that you know your jobs. So what's next? Level 2 is now open and you can start it. Congratulations. Let's skip. Yeah.
So yeah, you finished the level 1, right?
Yes. So Abir, level
Yeah.
1 is done.
Sorry
Yeah.
if you have some comments.
No, I mean, I have no comments, but I'd like to, if any of the participants is stuck somewhere, they can let us know.
Or if any of the participants finished with us level 1, that would be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, today we finished level 1, and we will be having other sessions for the other levels and more technical sessions about that. But I think we are already just in time for the next session with Fila. If Sarkar and Marwa, if you guys don't have anything to add about level 1.
No, Abir, I'm good.
It's okay for me, but I really recommend. Yeah, it's okay, but I really recommend that you join Jeff and Gobol. I will share all links now on the chat. This Gobol session will help you to do level 3 and advance more in this challenge. That's it.
Yeah, we'll be sharing more information about the next sessions happening in the IBMZ community. And now, yeah, Fila, if you're ready, Marwa, if you can stop sharing. So for Fila to use the screen. So yeah, Fila, welcome back again.
Hey, thank you. Well done, Mawa and SS for sharing level 1. That was amazing. Guys, I have a few links for you. If you did master mainframe and you really enjoyed it, there's a link that I shared on the chat. The first one is it talents. Over there, you get more material on mainframes and you can explore it better. There's even a blog. On that blog, you get different courses that you can do on Coursera and other platforms that you can do it for free. This is when you want to explore mainframe further. And the last link is academic at home. That one is even better. It has IBMZ skills, so you can get badges from just completing the courses there. But there's also AI, quantum computing, anything that you can think of that we've provided. The courses are there for you for free. You just put your university name and that information, your email, your university email address, and you'll be able to get access to it and see all these different courses that we offer. So I see that Abir has shared it again. So now I would like to talk about my other role of being a mainframe project manager for IBMZ and Linux One here in Africa. For Africa, we have a machine in Africa and one in the US where you can get access to it and start getting your skills on IBMZ. And the reason why we have these two platforms is that we understand that either you're working at the bank or airport or wherever we have these mainframes at, you would not have access to them. And remember, it runs a critical workload, so no company will give you access to them for you to try out or learn skills, even though it doesn't make sense because we have a huge skills shortage when it comes to these skills. But it also makes better sense for them because it runs all the critical workloads. So then IBM has decided to have these two free environments, one in the US and one here in Africa. So these environments are for businesses, clients, business partners that would like to do proof of concepts, right? They want to test out the application. Maybe they created their own blockchain hyperledger application and they want to test it out on an IBM platform. They will then get access to it, right? You as a student, as a startup or whatever you are, developer, and you also want to have access to these environments, the Linux one, you actually get access to it. So I'll share the link. On it, you can run any of these languages. I just listed a few here because if I list everything else, it would just be too much on the spreadsheet. So I will share a link where it has all the listed applications that you can run. You can run your management tool. I'm sure you can see all these amazing technologies that you can see here. Even on your Facebook, when you like a page or even watch a video up until the end, it will then start sharing information that is relevant to what you like. So it will see that you like things that have to do maybe with exercising. And then after that, you find different companies that are actually advertising or sponsored adverts will start sharing these adverts to you. And that's what companies out there right now are doing. Rather than sending all these letters or emails to everyone, random people, and hoping that they get a sale, they're now targeting individuals that like the same thing and then send the information to you. So Spark is, if you like data science, you'll know about these tools, and these run on IBM Z, right? So you can also have or run Spark on a Linux One community cloud. We've created your start guide where we allow or we get you started on how to install your Spark or MongoDB. If you've never installed it on IBM Z, we understand that it's a bit challenging. So we give you the head start. And then after that, then you can, since you're already familiar with Spark or whatever tool that we give you access to, or we allow you to be able to give you the instructions to download, and then you can carry on from there, right? And then I know that you can install Linux on your laptop. As Mawa said that she has a Linux on her laptop. She's using Linux all the time. This one is different, right? It's enterprise, meaning the companies out there are using the same environment, the support, or the processing power on this Linux one is the same that every industry is using. The security, which means you can also run your blockchain hyperledger. So I'll stop sharing this and then I'll start with the hands-on. And I know that we're out of time in terms of getting you registered on the community cloud and hoping. I actually love when I get everyone, doing the same thing or like registering the same time as me and doing the actual hands-on with me rather than me explaining it, because I understand we're all IT students or, learners, and we like to actually touch the technology and see it for ourselves. So what I've done is I've shared the link where you can register for the community cloud. So this is for 4 months. You can register and at any time. So what I'll do is, because we don't have the time to get you registered and show you everything, I'll just then show you how I will do it in the actual terminal, right? If you're running on a Windows machine, this will be different for you, which means you will have to install PuTTY and then, or any other software out there that you prefer that will help you then get access to these, to your IP address. So once you've, for some reason it's not showing, okay. So once you've registered and gotten the login details, you actually create your own virtual machine on there, right? And then it allows you to then access it on your terminal or PuTTY, depending on what you're using. So I'll show you from mine, right? So when you're creating it on a virtual machine, you click and there's actually a view guide, right? A guide that shows you how to go about creating your own virtual machine. It's just the first thing that you do is you name your virtual machine. I'm sorry that I'm explaining this instead of showing you. And then the next thing, unfortunately, the reason why I'm not showing you is the Africa Cloud is I don't have access to it right now because I'm not in that space. And so one thing you do, you put your instance name, and then you select the flavor that you want to use. So for this example, we'll use Red Hat, right? And the example that I'm showing you now, in fact, let me share my PDF that I've created for everyone. So you can also do it either while I'm still doing it now, or at your own time when you get the chance to actually start doing this, right? So what I've shared here is just the basic. If you have never been exposed to Linux, I've shared just the links, the ones that will allow you to understand this better. So on the community cloud, you just click on create Red Hat, and then you choose a flavor. Normally it's the small or big one. And for this example, even if you have small and it doesn't even eat a lot of data, so it won't use too much of your data, and then you select the small one, because it will allow you to do this, right? And so what we'll be doing for the example, so what I've done here on this document, I've listed a few commands that I know that even if you have experience on it, or have used Linux before, you just need a refresher for this example. So we have a few here: CD, going back, PWD, that's just, you want the system to tell you which part you're in, right? And so forth, right? So what we'll be doing, we'll be creating a web page. And this example that we're doing today is actually from level 2. So everything that was on level 2 when you're doing your community cloud is here. The only thing that I've done is, even though I've taken the commands that are listed there, I've seen that, some things are missing there and there. So I've given you some ideas or hints, or maybe written down what needs to be done next, right, for you to complete it if you have never been exposed to it. So let's go back to the Linux community cloud. You created your virtual machine, and then it gives you an IP address. So you'll see on that view guide, it will explain how you go about creating a virtual machine. Now, once you've created your virtual machine, you then have an IP address. So how do you access your machine? If you're using Windows, you'll then obviously install PuTTY or anything that you feel comfortable with that will allow you to access your virtual machine. Since I'm using a Mac, or you're using a Linux, you then just SSH. Obviously, the first command is command cmod 600, which allows you to gives you the permission to enter, right? And then the SSH is you getting into your machine. So then say, welcome to Linux One Community Cloud, which is great. That means you're in your community cloud, and now you can start doing the actual, work. So from the documentation, we'll just copy it as it goes because we're out of time, but also I'll explain it what we're doing as we go, right? So the first thing, remember now, we're creating our own web page on this community cloud. And for those that have done HTML before, this will be easy. In fact, you can even be as creative as you want. But for us that are just, trying to see what's going on, we'll just follow the steps that are there. So sudo means, so on a Linux environment, you'll normally get, so here what they gave you is Linux One access. So that's your username. So you have a specific access. And normally on Linux, they never, unless you are admin or whatever, you'd have root access. But every time you are doing something that will change something in the system, or you're installing something, you then have to write sudo. So it forces you to put that sudo, and when you're putting that sudo, it means that you're doing something that is either installing on your system or something critical, right? So what we've done now is we've installed Nano. So what is Nano? So the first thing, let me just explain. We said sudo yum. So on a Red Hat virtual machine, we use yum. Remember when I shared my presentation, there was Ubuntu, SUSE, and Red Hat. So these are different distros. So in Linux, you have, unlike Windows, where you have this one Windows that you have no other way of, or no other Windows that was created by a different company. When it comes to Linux, you have different flavors or different distributors that have created Linux. And the reason why it's like that, in fact, let me just go back a bit. When it comes to all the presentation I just shared now with all the different applications, open source, companies have realized that a lot of developers out there actually like creating application. Either you have a startup or whatever, but you like to create applications and test out technology. But if you wanted to do that, that means you would normally go and pay licensing if you wanted to do on other applications. But open source allows you to install and use these applications for free. Obviously, when you start wanting the support from them, then you start paying. Same thing with Linux. Linux was created by someone. Back in the days, Unix was paid for. So this person created Linux because they knew they wanted to understand, or do these operating system, but they couldn't afford it. So they wanted to create one for their community. So they created Linux. And so all these different companies have their own Linux, but Linux is the same everywhere. Linux is Linux. It's just that if you're using Red Hat, right, you'll use yum, as you can see here. So sudo yum, which means you're now directing to the Red Hat management. And if you're using Ubuntu, you'll say sudo apt. And the same thing for SUSE, it will be something different, right? So here we're installing Nano. So what is Nano? Nano is an editor, right? It's an editor, and I'll just show you. It's a word. It is for your files. It's an editor that you go in and then you edit that file and look at it and change whatever you want to change for that file. In fact, we'll do that. We'll actually go into Nano editor and start working on it, right? So I hope that has been clear for you. So now we're doing the next command. So now we're saying sudo yum install. We're installing HTTP, right, on. So if you're in the Linux world, you wouldn't say, you'll say S390X if you're referring to a Linux one. So we're installing these things on the actual Linux one, right? And now we're wanting Apache to start, right? So you will want it to start in the background, and then obviously at the end you want to see that the status, so you want to understand that it's active or not. And just bear with me, I've installed these before, so the result that I'll get are probably going to be different from what you'll get, because this has been installed so many times before. So that's what we're doing here. We're starting the Apache, then we want to look at the actual status, if it's active or not, and here it tells us that it's active, right? And now we're going to that. So then if you go to the list that I've shared here, just, the refreshes, the commands that will refresh your mind, we're saying CD. So what CD means, it's change directory. We want to move from, the home. So if you would just see now, let's just see now what happens here. So remember, pwd wants to print out what directory you're in. So right now we're under home, Linux 1. So if we put cd and we put that HTML, we want to move to that actual full directory. So it will then change here. Can you see? It has changed. So we want to start installing or doing stuff on that actual directory instead of the home directory. So we've done that. Now we want to install Nano index HTML. So we're actually installing a file, right? Because you can see here, the file is called index, and dot, it's the format of the file. In fact, you can always, if you wanted, you're familiar with doc, you can then you say doc or doc PDF. That means you're creating that specific format of a file, right, on Nano. So now, because it's HTML and this has been done before, so you will copy this as it is if you've never worked on HTML before. So, and I'll just explain it now what it does. But if you're very familiar with HTML and you want to go crazy and create, everything, your tabs and whatever, then you can do that, right? So we've just put in the format that is there. So this is the body, and this is the first headline, and our headline will be our web page. In fact, we can even change it and say something else, right? If it allows me. right? So there are different things that we want to do here, right? So the first one is H1, which means the first headline. That's what we want our website to be called. And in the paragraph, the P stands for paragraph. What do you want to write next to it, right? So we want to say maybe MTM level 1 or level 2 actually. That's the first headline we want to write there. And then maybe for a paragraph, you want to write master the mainframe is so cool. I know you probably agree with me. And on Nano, so we actually remember we installed Nano, so one of the editors. So you'll find there are other different editors out there. You're probably familiar with Vim, which is also a popular one. So what we do now, we've created obviously the format of our web page. So then we want to save it, right? So there's Control O, right? And what I will say, even on the document that I've created, is I put an enter because you've written the file name, then you want to enter before you exit. So you could then Control X, so then you exit. So everything is saved up, and then now you can move on. And then now we want to write cat. So we want to see that what we've written, we want to display what we've written. We want to see if it's correct or if the system actually allowed it, right? And you can see it's everything that we've written right now, right? And then the next thing, since we're creating a web page, we need to make sure that there's firewalls, and the firewall actually allows us to do what we're doing now, right? And the next thing is putting and you can see here, everything that we're running here has sudo in front. And these are critical things that we're doing now. Right? So the next thing is we're making sure that there's a port number. For any website, we will always have a port number. And here we're putting 80. You can put whatever you want to put, right? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. And that's because I'm just copying things that okay, I think I just wrote something there wrong. Okay, let me just. Yes, okay. So what happened is because I've copied it into my PDF, some things, as you know, a Word document will actually change stuff for you. So it didn't recognize that 1 dash, so it wanted 2 dash. So now it's saying, obviously I already enabled that 80, then it's saying successful, right? So now we're just reloading our firewall. And it should say successful, and the next thing is just enabling, right? The same thing we did in Apache. You want to make sure that everything is working. And if you go to our, remember when we're creating your IP address on that community cloud, they give you that IP address. So it's there, and you've been SSHing into it or calling it or getting access to that IP address. So now you go to your browser because you've created your actual web page, right? So just give me a moment to just access it, right? So I've put in my IP address, which I've gotten from there, and obviously which I've gotten from my actual community cloud. And it's saying the same thing that we've just written. So that was really easy for for people that are very experienced in HTML. But for some of us like me, this is good because now we can create our own web page. Any questions? And then I'll just, I know we only have like 7 minutes to carry on. I can't see the page she's working on. I think because she just shared the word PDF. Oh, wow. Is it? So can you not see my browser?
No, we were not seeing your browser all the way.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I just saw it now. Cool. So now, can you see it now? Sorry about that. I just shared the terminal instead of everything else, right? So if you put your IP address and that 80, that port number, remember you put your actual port number and you enter, then you'll see your web page that you've just created, right? It will then have the information that you put inside your nano documents, right? Remember what we put there? We even displayed it. Where is it? Cat. Here. Can you see it's the same thing that we've written here? And obviously you can always go back and change everything. So we're done with the actual creating of a web page, and it was quite fun, right? I know that we're not doing it all together, right? So the next thing is now we're installing the game, right? The one that, can you see everything? Can you see the Word document below, the terminal, even the browser? Can you see everything now?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so cool. Now we're installing the game, right? So remember what I mentioned in the beginning, even on the, on the actual document, where I'm making sure that you remember the actual, remember the commands, right? The CDs, what happens, and so forth. So even now, what we have here is if you write PWD, just for the sake of making sure that everyone is on the same page, remember at some point we said CD and we wanted to go to this directory. So if we start installing the game here, we're installing it in the wrong directory. So we're installing it just like if you're putting stuff in your pictures instead of your documents, and when you start looking for them, you'll find them in the wrong file, right? In the wrong document. So what we need to do is just move from this, right? Go to the home, and that's where we can install all these things that we're doing now. So on Linux, if you want to install stuff, you normally use cal. Sometimes it's wget. It depends on what you have installed. In fact, you can always install cal if it's not available on your Linux environment that you're using. Then so start installing that. So what it's doing now, it's going to the GitHub and installing that file that we need, right? It's installing the actual game from GitHub. And you can see how much it is, how much data it's taking, and so forth, right? And the next command we're doing now, and I know that if you're going through the Linux through, PDF documents, it will not show you exactly, how, in fact, it will show you everything, but some of the commands will not, if you are Linux fully, you will not understand what to do next, right? So what we're doing now, the tar xvf, is we've seen that we got this file, right? But now we want to extract the things. So it's like decomposing the actual file and get what you want from it, right? So it's opening the actual file, and we can see all these things that are installed. And then we want to then install, so make GCC. So those are things that we need for our actual command. And I know it's saying that it's already installed, but just bear with me. Remember, we're still now going back to the same thing. Let's change directory. So what we're doing now, we're at home. Now we want to go to the actual file that we just installed and start using that file, right? So that game that we've installed in our home page, we want to go to it, right? So now you can see it has changed and we are in that actual game. And these config are just, so now the next one is config make. It's just wanting to check if everything is working, everything is fine, and we can then play the game, right? So the last one is actually playing the game. So you write full stop / then the name of the game, and then you can start your game, right? You can either decide to play the two of you, and you've probably seen this game before. I know, I know very well, and maybe it's because of the age. So you probably have seen it. If not, that means you're just too young. And then you can start playing this game, right? It's quite, I don't know, I like it, but maybe you'll think that it's different from the games that you play. But it's just showing you that on Linux, you can do anything. You can, and we have a huge skill shortage when it comes to Linux skills also. In I know I'm talking about a region that you're not in or country that you're not in. In a lot of countries, you find, especially in South Africa, that not a lot of universities will teach Linux, so people will be actually working on Linux. And yet we have a lot of jobs that are often wanting those skills, and we don't have them. So that means we have to get people from different countries to actually come and do those jobs. And if you go and research skills in Linux, you'll find that they are more pay. And I'm not just saying this because IBM has just bought Red Hat, but you will see even in the community cloud, we're not only supporting Red Hat, we're supporting other, we have SUSE, you can do SUSE if you are comfortable with that. So thank you for your time. I'll stop there, and I'm glad that I stopped exactly at the time that was aligned to assigned to me. So thank you. Let me just share my LinkedIn link here. And if you want to connect, talk about, so I normally put courses that we're doing, including the Z Ambassador program and different programs that are out there. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Phila. And we just made it in time. And I'm glad for having you and Sarkar, Marwa. Thank you for joining me today, leading today's session of Master the Mainframe. Also, thank you, participants who joined us today. Hope you find it informative. And you get to finish level 1, and also we'll be looking forward to host another session. And also there are other sessions are already planned by the IBM Z community. There is a session tomorrow. Marwa already shared some information links about it, and we will be having other sessions. And I would like to especially thank IEEE CESU student branch who helped organize this session. Thank you for your great motivation and the great leadership and being able to plan this event. I think that's it for now, and I recorded this session. I will be sharing the recording with the participant and also on the Facebook event page for you to review. If you missed a part of Phila presentation, you'll be able to go through it again and follow the instruction and get to play this game. So thank you, everybody. Sarkar and Marwa, if you have any closing remarks or notes for participants, feel free. If not, I'm gonna stop recording and yeah.
Are you hearing me, Abir?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I want to say that there are many participants in the former MTM events asked me if there are jobs for Tunisians of master of mainframe or COBOL, etc. Yeah, there is. Just you can check 10 jobs for this. I can check. You can check 10 jobs for positions. There are for COBOL, and there are many institutions. This is COBOL too on LinkedIn, and you can see if you put mainframe. Not there. You will find out that many Tunisians are working on mainframes. Not like this.
Yeah, so yeah, the market always is looking for mainframers.
Yeah. And there are many people that are doing conversion of their main field of work or study and go for mainframes in Europe, especially. Many Tunisians I've contacted are in France, for example, doing mainframes. And there are many Tunisians here in Tunisia doing mainframes too. So you can find a lot of opportunities. Look for it. and don't say that mainframes are not existing in Tunisia. Even in you can go for Europe, there is, and you can go for Europe, or you can find a lot of opportunities, and it's now very open for youth. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. There is no technology old or left behind. All technology are alive, and there is always a market for every tech skills, and that's what we try to do, and to spread the word and share information and open minds and perspectives for everyone. I hope that you find it informative and that will push you to learn more about mainframes. So thank you again, thank you all, and that's it for today, and stay tuned for other sessions coming up, and thank you all.